6 suspects involved in border shootout detained. New COVID-19 cases jumps to all-time high. Hello and good evening. You're watching News at 10 with me, Muhammad Amin Carlos. Well, 6 of 14 suspects involved in a shooting incident at the Malaysia-Thailand border where a General Operations Force or PJA personnel was killed have been detained. Now, 2 of the detainees were arrested near the Malaysia-Thailand border, while 4 others nabbed by Thai authorities at the Hat Yai hospital. According to Perlis Police Chief Dato Surina Saad, the shooting incident happened at 3:10 a.m. this morning, where 3 of the suspects sustained injuries. Early investigation found that one of the smugglers helped the suspects to get to the hospital.
Makna dia melarikan diri, dia dah cedera. Kemungkinan besar 3 yang cedera tu memang confirm lah penyelundup yang terlibat lah. Tapi pihak kita dapat bantuan daripada pihak Thailand lah. Dia akan serahkan keempat-empat tangkapan tu pada kita.
Dah dapat kan Syana?
Dah dapat.
Dah dapat dah?
Dah. Dan dia dah bawa seorang daripada yang cedera tu sebelah tangan umur 19 tahun. Dia bawa ke tempat kejadian di mana dia turun. Di mana dia naik balik daripada kejadian. Jalan dia masuk tu. Dia jalan dia naik.
Yang belah Thailand ke?
Belah Thailand. Belah Thailand.
During the incident, PJA personnel Corporal Baharudin Ramli, who was a member of the 3rd Battalion of the PJA Northern Brigade, died at the scene while Corporal Norihan Tari was badly injured and was sent to the Tuanku Fauziah Hospital in Kangar. Corporal Norihan was later sent to the Pulau Pinang Hospital for further treatment. In a posting on the Royal Malaysia Police official Facebook page, Inspector General of Police Tan Sri Hamid Badur expressed his condolences to the family of Corporal Baharudin, adding that the sudden demise of the GOF personnel is a huge loss to the PDRM and the country. Well, Malaysia recorded its highest ever number of COVID-19 cases in a day, with the Ministry of Health, the MOH, reporting 2,188 cases today. And according to its Director General, Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, Selangor contributed the overwhelmingly majority with 1,623 cases, followed by Sabah's 232. Well, most of Selangor's cases were, however, from the Teratai cluster involving factory workers. Well, the Teratai cluster is the biggest contributor, being the progenitor of 4,036 positive cases since the start of the pandemic. Now, just today, 1,511 positive cases reported were from the Teratai cluster, and Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham explained that today 119 clusters reported and workplace-related, 36 of which have been declared inactive, with the remaining 83 still active. Overall, there have been a total of 334 clusters recorded nationwide, with 167 of them concluded. The remaining 167 active cases are currently being closely monitored. Meanwhile, 1,673 cases made a recovery and were discharged, bringing the total number of recoveries up to 44,153. 112 cases are currently being treated in intensive care units, with 49 of them requiring respiratory aid. MOH also recorded 4 new deaths today. Police arrested 329 individuals yesterday for breaching the new norm SOPs, such as wearing face masks and observe the physical distance. And Senior Minister for Security, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob, in a statement today said that from the figures, 311 were slapped with fines, 5 were remanded, and 13 others were granted bail. Now, among the violations committed were failure to wear masks, 131 individuals, failure to maintain physical distancing, 59 cases, failure to prepare customer registration tools, 50 premises, interstate or inter-district crossings, 38 individuals, and 51 other offences. Meanwhile, Dato Sri Ismail Sabri also said authorities has arrested 88 illegal immigrants and 5 boat skippers, as well as 13 land vehicles under obbenting. Well, separately, the senior minister said between 24th July until yesterday, 73,713 returnees were recorded entering Malaysia via international gateways. From the number, 10,152 people had undergone mandatory quarantine, while 405 were sent to hospital for treatment and 63,156 have been discharged and allowed to go home. Well, 8 illegal factories were demolished in an integrated operation led by Gombak's Land and District Office. Selangor Tourism, Environment and Green Technology and Orang Asal Affairs Committee Chairman He Loy Sian said the operation was carried out because the premises were situated near river banks, operating without certificates and failed to adhere to environment safety aspects. Among other structures demolished on the 2-acre land were 2 storage buildings and heavy machinery maintenance buildings. The State Exco said the operation is necessary to reduce river pollution, which had caused unscheduled water supply disruption.
So ni reserve sungai lah.
The operation was carried out under Section 425 of the National Land Code 1965. Well, up to 141 illegal immigrants, among them 6 children, were detained in an immigration integrated enforcement operation at Hentian Kajang, which has been under an enhanced movement control order or EMCO since 20th October. The immigrants aged between 1 and 50 were held over a 4-hour period from 8 a.m. to noon today. And according to Immigration Deputy Director for General Operations, Muhammad Fauzi Mat Isa. Met on location, he said some 2,600 people were checked during the operation, which ends tonight, and 1,900 of them were foreigners.
So, parti ini daripada 141 orang parti yang kita tahan pada hari ini, 65 orang adalah Indonesia, Myanmar 59 orang, Nepal 9 orang, dan yang lain tu yang bermacam-macam lagi 8 orang.
Commenting further, Muhammad Fauzi said the immigrants were picked up for various offences, including overstaying and abuse of the visit pass. He added that they will be taken to the Semuanya Immigration Detention Depot. The EMCO at Hentian Kajang was imposed on 28th October for 14 days up to 10th November and extended from 11th November to midnight tonight. Well, glove manufacturer WRP Asia Pacific Sendirian Berhad, or WRP, former CEO Dato' Lee Son Hong claimed trial today at the Shah Alam Criminal Sessions Court to 3 charges under Section 18 of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission Act 2009 and 8 charges for criminal breach of trust, or CBT, under Section 409 of the Penal Code filed by the Attorney General's Chambers involving transactions valued at over 145 million ringgit. Now, Lee's wife, Datin Tu Sui Keng, also claimed trial to 7 charges for abetment under Section 109 of the Penal Code for criminal breach of trust involving transactions valued at over 108 million ringgit. Well, the charges follow raids conducted at WRP's premises by the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, or MACC, in June this year to investigate allegations of misappropriations of funds. Deputy Public Prosecutors, or DPPs, Ahmad Akram Garib and Muhammad Mukhzani Fariz Muhammad Mokhtar appeared for the prosecution, while lawyers Dato' D. Senthinathan, Nur Aminatul, Mardia Madnor, PG Cyril and Yalani Munusami represented Lee and Tu. Sessions Court Judge Rosila Saleh set bail for Lee and Tu at 1.5 million ringgit with 1 surety and ordered them to surrender their passports. She also fixed 4th January 2021 for mention of the case. Now, Lee is charged under Section 409 of the Penal Code with 8 counts of CBT. He is also charged under Section 18 of the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act 2009 for making false claims amounting to 8.4 million ringgit. Meanwhile, Tu is charged under Section 109 of the Penal Code with 7 counts of abetment. She is accused of helping Lee commit CBT amounting to 102.85 million ringgit. Coming up next, 1.5 billion ringgit allocated to benefit tourism and retail sectors. Well, a total of 1.5 billion ringgit was allocated in Budget 2021, specifically for 70,000 employers and 900,000 workers in the tourism and retail sectors for 3 months. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul Tengku Abdul Aziz said the proactive measure is taken to ensure all the subsectors involved and the most affected receive adequate assistance.
Yang utama juga adalah pelan jangka sederhana kerajaan untuk meningkatkan kemahiran pekerja dan usaha menganjak perniagaan kepada bidang dan pasaran baru.
Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul said this when presenting the 30th Economic Stimulus Implementation and Coordination Unit between National Agencies Laksana report. He added the government is also ready to allocate funds worth 1 billion ringgit for a high value-added investment incentive package for the aerospace and electronics industries, among others, and 3.7 billion ringgit to generate employment opportunities in collaboration with government-owned companies or GLCs and the private sector. The Finance Minister added that more than 9 billion ringgit will be managed to strengthen the country's digital infrastructure, including improving the connectivity of 430 schools and industrial areas, as well as efforts to provide mobile electronics and laptops to help people move towards under the new norm. On another note, Tengku Datuk Seri Zafrul said a total of 4.5 billion ringgit has been distributed to over 9.86 million recipients of the first phase for Bantuan Prihatin Nasional BPN 2.0. From the figures, 7 million recipients were from the B40 group and the remaining were from the M40 group.
Tempoh permohonan baharu serta rayuan BPN 2.0 telah berakhir pada 15 November lepas. Sambungan itu, pembayaran fasa kedua beserta bayaran kepada permohonan baru dan rayuan yang lulus akan dibuat dalam bulan Januari 2021.
The Finance Minister also announced 304,000 eligible micro-SMEs entrepreneurs will receive a one-off 3,000 ringgit financial aid through Prihatin Special Grant GKP. Well, policies are needed to foster workers' productive employment, such as enhanced opportunities for training and lifelong learning. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Datuk Seri Mustafa Mohamad, said such policies will allow Malaysians to work longer, live a longer, healthier life with less physically demanding occupations and with more digitally enabled workplaces.
In parallel, policies are needed that foster workers' productive employment, such as enhanced opportunities for training and lifelong learning. Such policies will allow Malaysians to work longer, be healthier for longer, with less physically demanding occupations and with more digitally enabled workplaces.
Speaking at the launch of the World Bank report dubbed A Silver Lining, Productive and Inclusive Aging for Malaysia this morning through Facebook Live, Datuk Seri Mustafa said more than 7% of the country's population will be aged 65 and above in 2020, which means Malaysia is becoming an aging society. The rate of aging will increase in the coming years and the share of the population aged 65 and above is projected to double to 14% by 2044 and to reach 20% by 2056. During the session, Datuk Seri Mustafa also revealed that only 45.9% of those aged from 50 to 74 were gainfully employed, stating that the rate is considered low compared to upper middle and high income countries. The report noted that besides changing workers' preferences for the types of jobs sought, the government could provide an improved policy environment to allow the elderly to find flexible, productive and inclusive employment. A declaration of emergency is being considered for Gerik Parliamentary Constituency and Bugaya State Constituency, which are currently facing a by-election following the death of their respective elected representatives. And according to Minister in the Prime Minister's Department of Parliament and Law, Datuk Taqiyuddin Hassan, this is intended to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Berpandukan kepada perkara 150, Jemaah Menteri memutuskan untuk mengarahkan Perdana Menteri menasihatkan Yang di-Pertuan Agong untuk mengisytiharkan sebahagian daripada persekutuan iaitu Parlimen Batu Sapi supaya diisytiharkan darurat. tindakan yang sama juga akan dipertimbangkan dan dilaksanakan untuk bagi Dun Bugaya dan Gerik sekiranya berdasarkan penilaian risiko oleh Kementerian Kesihatan dan Majlis Keselamatan Negara MKN, ianya berlandaskan sebagaimana di Batu Sapi.
He added the risk evaluation by MKN in Batu Sapi also took into account the possibility of SOP breaches, in addition to election staff members unable to work amidst the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. As of 6 November, only 143 out of 837 election officers are ready for duty. Similarly, health officers and MOH personnel are not yet prepared to manage over 32,000 voters in Batu Sapi. Well, a total of 95,995 workers contributed under the Employment Insurance System, or SIP, have been laid off as of 13 November. And Human Resources Minister Dato Sri M. Saravanan said that 40,766 out of the figures involve the aviation, hotel and tourism sectors. Speaking at the Dewan Rakyat today, the minister said currently 110 million ringgit has been approved for payment to the applicants from aviation, hotel and tourism sectors.
Selain itu, SIP juga menyediakan bantuan lain seperti allowance bekerja semula awal, allowance pendapatan berkurangan, allowance latihan, fee latihan dan faedah bantuan pencarian pekerjaan. Pada masa yang sama, pekerja yang telah diberhentikan kerja, mereka boleh mendaftar dengan portal My Future Jobs, iaitu portal pekerjaan yang membantu mereka mendapatkan pekerjaan.
Dato Sri Saravanan also said the government is targeting 500,000 job opportunities in an effort to overcome unemployment through the Employment Generation Guarantee Scheme, Jana Kerja. The Ministry of Communications and Multimedia, KKMM, has identified the technical obstructions of efforts to provide better broadband to the Rakyat, especially in rural areas. Its Minister, Dato Saifuddin Abdullah, said immediate measures have been taken in order to continue efforts to develop new facilities and upgrade existing ones. He said strategic collaborations involving the ministry and telecommunication companies, as well as engagement sessions with state governments, have also been conducted.
Jadi yang kami telah berbincang ialah mencadangkan supaya kerajaan negeri dan PBT menjadikan penyediaan internet, maksud saya internet connectivity, ya, sama ada untuk gentian ataupun untuk menara itu dimasukkan dalam KM, dalam kelulusan merancang. Ini akan mempercepatkan proses kerana soal itu telah ditangani awal. Kita tahu nak memajukan sesuatu kawasan itu pun mengambil masa, mungkin 12 bulan, 18 bulan. Jadi kalau dia tak masuk KM, itu pun dah boleh nampak kelambatan proses dia.
He added the National Digital Network Jandela plan launched in August will also help expedite the process of improving broadband services nationwide. Through the plan, 4G will have its coverage widened and its speed improved. The Ministry of Education, the MOE, has increased broadcasts for educational television channels to fulfill the demands of students, parents and teachers, as concluded based on a survey from 17th to the 19th of April. Well, this makes the total airtime of educational TV channels to 9 hours a day, including 2 hours on TVOK, 3 hours on NTV7 and 4 hours on Astro Tutor TV. According to Education Minister Dr. Radzi Majidin, a survey was previously conducted to investigate the reception and effectiveness of television as a medium for education, especially towards consumers in rural areas. This involves over 12,000 students and 17,665 teachers from 600 schools, as well as 14,786 parents or guardians in 8 states.
Seramai 96.4% murid bersetuju supaya slot TV pendidikan ditambah. Selain itu, 98.7% murid, 98% guru dan 96% ibu bapa atau penjaga bersetuju tempoh rancangan TV pendidikan dilanjutkan selepas tamat PKP. Tinjauan juga mendapati bahawa 96% guru berpandangan kandungan TV pendidikan adalah selari dengan buku teks.
Meanwhile, 89% of parents also agree that educational TV is a good medium to encourage students to study. Reports from educational TV channels show that the cumulative number of TV OK viewers since 6 April 2020 is 1.8 million, and for Astro TV channel as of May 2020, 5.4 million. Still ahead, Hong Kong to shut bars, nightclubs for third time as new COVID-19 cases jump.
With the MERS 999 application system, getting emergency assistance is now easier. Save Me 999 Police connects the Malaysian public to the police. Save Me 999 Deaf for those with hearing or speech impairments. And Save Me 999 Blind for those with visual impairments. Download now for free on your smartphones. MERS 999 and applications make emergency calls easier.
And in the foreign news, while Hong Kong will close bars, nightclubs and other entertainment venues for the third time this year as authorities scramble to tackle a renewed rise in coronavirus cases. Now, authorities are also reopening a temporary COVID-19 treatment hall near the city's airport. Like on Tuesday, Hong Kong reported 80 new coronavirus cases, taking the total since late January to 5,782 COVID-19 infections and 108 deaths. The Chinese-ruled financial hub has so far managed to avoid the widespread outbreak of the disease seen in many major cities across the world, with numbers on a daily basis mostly in single digits or low double digits in the week prior to the spike. Now, over 180 of the latest cases are linked to dance clubs, bars and nightclubs, as well as other types of venues such as karaoke and dance halls will be closed initially for 7 days until at least 3rd December. Now, they were first closed for several weeks in April and again from mid-July to mid-September before restrictions were gradually eased again. Well, the latest jump in cases has caused a travel bubble between Hong Kong and Singapore due to launch on Sunday to be postponed for at least 2 weeks. Russia will charge less for its Sputnik V COVID-19 vaccine than rivals as Moscow aims to produce more than 1 billion doses at home and abroad next year. Well, details of the exact pricing are expected later, but Kirill Dmitriev, head of Russia's Russian Direct Investment Fund, RDIF Sovereign Wealth Fund, said that Sputnik V would be priced significantly lower than other rivals with similar efficacy levels. Russia's Sputnik V coronavirus vaccine is 95% effective, according to a second interim analysis of clinical trial data its developers said on Tuesday. The calculations were based on preliminary data obtained 42 days after the first dose, according to Russia's Health Ministry, Gamaleya Scientific Research Institute, and the RDIF in a release statement. Moscow has been criticized by some scientists in the West who have accused it of cutting corners in an effort to try to rush out the Sputnik V vaccine, something that Russia has denied. Pricing the vaccine at a lower level than competitors could help Moscow grab more market share. New clinical trial data based on 39 confirmed cases and 18,794 patients who got both shots had shown that Sputnik V was 91.4% effective on day 28 and over 95% effective on day 42. And on a lighter note, 4 Magellanic penguins from Chicago's Shed Aquarium stormed the stadium in a recent visit to neighboring Soldier Field. Izzy, Darwin, Tombo and Charlotte explored the locker room of the NFL's Chicago Bears and got plenty of exercise on the field, which was set up that day for a Chicago Fire MLS match. Coming through the tunnel onto the field, the 4 Magellanic penguins surveyed the vast stadium. They took the turf with an authority that has been sometimes lacking there this season as they sprinted in their way toward the end zone. The shoot for the video released Monday actually happened as the field stood ready for a game featuring hosting Major League Soccer's Chicago Fire, another team that spent its just concluded season with profound offensive challenges. Field trips to various locations in and around the city are a regular part of the Penguins' routine. The field trips are important for the birds, providing variety and ensuring that just like in the wild, no 2 days are the same. Messi and De Jong rested for Dynamo Kiev clash. Well, Barcelona coach Ronald Koeman said Monday that Lionel Messi and Frankie de Jong will not be featured against Dynamo Kiev in the Champions League this midweek, instead being given a rest. Well, Barca traveled to Ukraine on top of Group G with a perfect 9 points after 3 games, 3 points ahead of second place Juventus, but they are lowly 12th in La Liga after losing 1-0 to Atletico Madrid on Saturday. Ahead of Tuesday's game, Koeman told reporters that the club decided not to take Leo or Frankie as their situation in the Champions League is quite comfortable. Messi, 33, has played every Barca match so far this season and also played the full 90 minutes for Argentina 4 times over October and November. Midfielder De Jong, who is 10 years Messi's junior, has also played every match for the Catalan Giants as well as 5 international fixtures for the Netherlands in the same period. Injuries to several key players, including Ansu Fati, Sergio Busquets and Gerard Piqué, have forced Koeman to rotate. Antoine Griezmann and promising teen Pedri are expected to lead the attack, while Clement Lenglet will lead the defense in the absence of both Piqué, who picked up a knee injury on Saturday, and Samuel Umtiti. And Manchester United may need 6 points from their 3 remaining Champions League group stage games to qualify for the next phase of the competition after a shock defeat by Istanbul Başakşehir this month. Manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer conceded that his side cannot afford another off night against Istanbul Başakşehir if they are to reach the Champions League last 16. United won their opening 2 games against Paris Saint-Germain and RB Leipzig before losing 2-1 to the Turkish champions, and Solskjaer said Tuesday's return fixture at Old Trafford offered them the chance to respond and consolidate their position. They currently lead Group H with 6 points, but could potentially drop out of the top 2 if they lose again. Solskjaer said he is hopeful French midfielder Paul Pogba will be featured after missing Saturday's 2-1 Premier League win over West Bromwich Albion following a busy period with the French team. Luke Shaw, Phil Jones and Jesse Lingard will miss out, while Solskjaer did not rule out handing Dean Anderson another Champions League start in goal ahead of David De Gea. Well, that's it from us this evening. In our top story, 6 suspects involved in border shootout detained. Do join us for updates at 12 noon or 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Mohammed Amin Carlos, and thanks for watching.